A man is tied to a chair as the mob questions him for leaking information. They take him to the boss, Penguin, who presumably does some bad things to him. Meanwhile, the mob is moving their product as they fear being hit, but they don't believe in Batman. Suddenly, the lights shut off, and they all get paranoid as Batman gasses them before taking them out one by one. Their worst nightmare comes true, and a man fires at one of his own. He tries to run away, but Batman catches him before there's an explosion, and Batman watches in the distance. Later on, Batman reveals that there had been 3 explosions in 2 weeks in buildings that trace back to Rupert Thorne, all of which were covered by police, or the culprits. An all-out gang war is brewing in Gotham. Batman needs to find who's behind them, and decides to start with the corrupt police. The next day, there is a trial regarding a kid and a drug smuggling ring. The court takes a recess, and Barbara Gordon tells Harvey Dent that her client took the fall, but it appears that Harvey is in on it. He's trying to build a strong case as he is running for mayor. He tosses a coin flip, and Barbara gets pissed and storms out. In the night, Batman sneaks into the police station. He looks at some of the files to find who's behind the corruption. A drunken cop gets snatched by Batman and dangles in the way of a speeding train. Batman interrogates him to find out who paid him to falsify police reports, and the cop reveals that it was the Penguin. Batman pulls him up and tells him he'll be back for him if he's lying. Meanwhile, at Penguin's club, the Penguin in this show is a girl, for some reason. Woke Hollywood, right? She welcomes the detectives at her club before leaving, and everyone seems to love her. Barbara can't stand being there as they are at a police fundraiser. Jim Gordon is greeted by Harvey Dent as they discuss rumors about giant bats. Bruce Wayne approaches the yacht where the party is as he now has Penguin in mind. A random guy tries to hit on Barbara, but she leaves him. Bruce gets to the party late and is greeted by Harvey, as they both appear to be friends. Rupert Thorne gets there as well, and Penguin meets him, commenting on his blown-up buildings. He tells her that a little birdie in her camp told him of her attacks and leaves. Bruce is charismatic as usual and sets off to sneak around the yacht. He picks the lock off a door and quickly hides in the water as Penguin takes the little birdie to deal with it. Bruce swims back and climbs aboard. At the same time, Penguin reveals that one of her boys sold her out. Both her boys argue, but she knows who it is. Her boy is terrified of her, and for all the right reasons. He's put inside a small case and thrown in the water to sink to his demise. At another place, Thorne's phone rings, and it is the other boy who ran to him. As it turns out, he was the one who sold Penguin out. Penguin is told about his treachery, and she tells her men to do whatever it takes to find him. Later at Barbara's office, she gets ready to beat up an intruder, but it's just Penguin's boy. He tells her Penguin is crooked and wants her to take him to her father, Jim Gordon, as he is the only clean cop in the city. As they leave, they are tailed by another car that tries to crash into them before opening fire. They try to evade them, and Barbara makes him take the wheel while she shoots back. Finally, they crash, but take cover as they get cornered. With only 2 bullets left, she takes a last stand, but Batman arrives just on time and gives her a nod before leaving. The next day, the boy is trying to run away, but Jim is trying to calm him down as he is in police custody. The detectives rat them out and tell Penguin, and she gets enraged that her boy is spilling everything to Gordon. She gets a sinister idea as her men prepare missiles and load up a large-scale cannon. Everyone is suddenly instructed to leave the building, but Batman is already on his way in his submarine to infiltrate Penguin's ship. They aim the cannon, but Batman starts taking out her men. He has a close fight with her bodyguard, but this is Batman. You can't beat him. He throws him overboard before taking on Penguin. The police station is in panic and one of the detainees is handcuffed. The Coast Guard gets to the ship while they fight, but Batman is an equal opportunity crime fighter. Penguin manages to fire the cannon just as the station is emptied. It blows up, and Batman is nowhere to be found. After the explosion, Barbara confirms to Jim that Batman is real. The next day, Alfred insists that Batman eat. Batman is piecing together Penguin's empire. He feels like Penguin was keeping Thorne in check, and by taking her down, he now gives Thorne full control of Gotham. Later on, Yvonne goes home and someone snatches her in the night. The next day, Bruce Wayne is being questioned by police about the disappearance of the woman, as he was the last person to see her. He tries to offer a bribe, but the detective is insulted. He had dropped Yvonne off at 11, and suddenly, his lawyer Lucius Fox comes in to get him out of there. The detective tries to explain that Bruce isn't a suspect, but Bruce heads out. Bruce then explains to Alfred that the detective is honest, and he can trust her, but Bruce has already planted a chip on her to listen in. Detective Montoya and Jim are dumbfounded about the whole situation, and Montoya decides to hit the movies to question her co-worker actors. Carlo doesn't know anything and says that he hasn't seen Yvonne in months, but says that she was running with the wrong crowd before leaving for a meeting with his boss. Another woman is showing the detective pictures, and it shows Carlo clearly seeing Yvonne in the same week, and also reveals that Carlo doesn't have any meetings. Montoya storms out and tries to find Carlo, but Batman has been tailing the entire thing. Montoya hears screaming and breaks in to find Carlo stabbed, and the murderer gets away, but Batman is on his back. They chase around the rooftops, and Batman grabs him, but the disfigured assassin gets away. Batman saves a citizen, which allows the killer to get away. Meanwhile, Yvonne wakes up elsewhere as a doctor tends to her. She's in chains, and they're forcing her to film something. Montoya is angry at herself for allowing all this to happen, and apologizes to Jim for letting him down. The rest of the detectives are having a laugh, and Harvey annoys Montoya, and Harvey is still only concerned about his campaign. The movie producer is talking on the phone, handing out threats before getting interrupted by his assistant. She tells him the director wants to meet him and leaves. Suddenly, a man starts laughing in the shadows before confronting the producer. The assassin then electrocutes him to his death. Meanwhile, Alfred is watching an old Yvonne movie, trying to find any useful information. Batman is analyzing a piece of clothing he tore from the assassin, and they find that it came from the studio. He gets to the studio where Montoya is questioning more actors. One actor says that Carlo was cheated of fame because of his looks. She interviews the wardrobe head, and she reveals that Carlo was in love with Yvonne, but she didn't feel the same way, but admired him and felt bad for his looks. Another director says that Carlo was given limited roles because of his roles, but he fell victim to the makeup artist, Jack Ellman, because Carlo was desperate. His patience ran thin with Ellman, and they had a fight, which got Ellman fired. Batman is listening in on this before following the director to his set. They take a break, and the assassin pulls up on the director, but Batman saves him. They both fight with whatever is available, as Batman seems to be quite an expert with the sword. Suddenly, the whole building falls apart, as the assassin is deemed victorious and runs away. Batman is stuck under the rubble and finds two bodies, suspiciously, one of the actor that Montoya just interviewed. Montoya is requesting backup as she is going after Ellman, but backup completely ignores her, so she goes in alone. She knocks on his door and starts questioning him, but Ellman claims he has no idea and invites her in. While that is happening, Batman looks at Carlo in the morgue but finds a fake body. Back at Ellman, he tries to act dumb while grabbing a weapon. He tries to sneak up on her, but she was ready. Suddenly, he appears disfigured before knocking her out. She wakes up tied to a chair in front of the scary assassin, and it is revealed that the assassin himself is Carlo. He is disfigured and tells Montoya the story of how Ellman tried to fix his face because of the roles he kept missing. He went to Yvonne to share the news, expecting her to accept him, but she rejected him. His face suddenly fell apart, and he kidnapped her. He reveals that it was him who she interviewed, as he can now look like anyone he wants. The man is none other than Clayface, and he intends to kill everyone and play any role he wants. Revealing that he has Yvonne tied up, he's playing his final role, finally accepting the role of the villain. Yvonne plays to his insecurity and tells him she doesn't buy his performance when suddenly Batman swoops in, but he activates the saw trap. They start fighting, while Montoya tries to free Yvonne. The fight continues as Yvonne is about to be split in two. She's freed at the last second though. Batman overcomes Clayface and starts beating him up, disfiguring his face when Montoya pulls a gun on Batman. Backup finally arrives, but Batman is nowhere to be caught. They catch Clayface and get out of there when Montoya finds Batman's chip, and she tells him that they're not done as we end the first two episodes. These were the first two episodes of Batman, Caped Crusader. It is a new detective-style animated show that pays homage to the Batman animated series. It mixes in the new with the old, literally, as it appears to be set in the 50s. If you've enjoyed this series, let us know, and we'll continue to deliver on it to find out how the story ends. Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. And tell me what you think about this story. What do you think about the series so far? Do you love to see Batman origin stories? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.